Hi, honey, are you? It's Teknikolour. Today I have another speed build. This time I created a restaurant in Glimmerbrook, specifically on the Brooksbridge Borough lot. Let's check it out. So I have been playing over on my Twitch channel a legacy challenge called the Around the World's Legacy Challenge, which I wrote with my boyfriend, Cinnabon Andy. And I am currently living in Glimmerbrook. We are on Generation 5 and dealing with spellcasters. And he is also our heir, Archimedes Wyndham. He's also a paranormal investigator. And he's not doing the greatest at that. But I've basically made over a lot of the lots here in Glimmerbrook. I think the only one after this that I haven't made over is the one that is closest to the portal to the realm of magic. And I don't know. I guess it felt easier to make over all of these lots simply because there's not that many in Glimmerbrook. So I said, let's do this. Let's do it. And I decided to make over this lot, but I wanted it to be a restaurant because I currently have Archimedes Wyndham. I have his residential household. I also have a residential rental where his sister, Morgana Wyndham, lives, and also rents out to a bunch of my community members from my Twitch channel. So I had this thing where if people had donated a certain amount on my birthday stream, I would add their sim selves into my legacy challenge. So they all live there and they're invited to weddings and different events. So she is basically their landlord. I also made a cat cafe, which I actually made when we were still playing through Generation 4. And with that generation, it was all focused around cats. And I wanted my sim to make friends and potential dates with a spellcaster, and I couldn't find anyone. I ended up making her current partner into a spellcaster just to make my life easier because I couldn't find any spellcasters that I liked. But I made this cat cafe because I figured kill two birds with one stone here in Glimmerbrook so we could find a spellcaster, and we never did. But I figured, okay, whatever. We will just have Luella find a partner somehow. Maybe we'll end up making a partner into a spellcaster. Maybe we could see some cats. And we didn't actually get any cats at the cat cafe. I don't even know if any cats actually showed up because we've only gone there a couple of times. But I decided I want a restaurant for my current generation. And I thought it would be nice to just go and visit occasionally. I've only made, I think, one other restaurant that I have in this legacy save, and that's in Henford on Bagley. During the cottage living Generation 3, I wanted another restaurant because I felt like my Sims were only going to cafes and just there was nothing really for them to do. So I figured a restaurant could be another venue that they could visit. So I created one way back in Generation 3, and I actually really like that one. But I decided to make another one here in Glimmerbrook, and this is it. I actually based this off of a couple of different images that I had seen that are like mystical buildings, I guess. And they were kind of like 3D renderings or like drawings. They were not actual places or anything that like had lore to it. But I said that I wanted something that looked kind of cottagey, but also looked like it would fit in with the rest of the households or the rest of the lots that I have here in Glimmerbrook. And I think I did a pretty good job. I used a lot of the Tudor style stuff that we got in Get Together, and I mixed in the werewolf roofs, and I don't know. I'm kind of impressed with the way that this turned out and how closely it ended up looking to my inspiration photos. But I realized a little too late that I had wanted to raise it up on either a platform or a foundation, and I built the inside first. Or, well, I didn't do the foundation. I was going to leave the foundation for last, but then I built everything on the inside and I fell in love with the inside. And then once I tried to raise it on a foundation, I couldn't have my stairs in the same place, and then there just wasn't room for them. So I had to get rid of that idea. I still painted the ground and I put fence around. So it looks a little bit different, but I don't know. My whole idea was to kind of have it on like cobblestones, like raised up, maybe in a future build. But I really like the way that this turned out. I think it looks very cutesy, very mystical, which is kind of the whole vibe that I was looking to achieve. But I also wanted something that screamed Gaidry, and I don't really know Gaidry. I just kind of know him through kind of experiencing the paranormal stuff pack for the first time in terms of gameplay. And I don't know, I think he's kind of cool. So I was like, I want a restaurant that's either themed around him or based off of him, but not in like an overt way. I wanted it to be a little tuned down, but I had a thought when it came to naming, because I chose to use a lot of reds in here, and that's mostly because my heir, Archimedes Wyndham, his favorite color is red. A lot of his theming is red, and I decided I was going to make a build that was focused on red for this restaurant. Also because red is a dining color. You should be using red in like dining and stuff. And I thought about it and I was like, oh, Michaela Reid from Dead by Daylight. I'm a huge Dead by Daylight fan, which you might not realize from just like looking at my Sims builds. I like cozy gaming, but then I also like horror gaming. And also my Twitch chat would probably say that any game for me is a horror game. I can get scared at pretty much any game that I play. We're also playing Link's Awakening over on my Twitch channel this week. We literally just started it this past Monday, and I've been screaming a lot more than you would expect. It's a really cutesy like game. It's like super cute. It is a Legend of Zelda, so there's the monsters and everything like that, but most people probably don't get as scared as I do. But I don't know. That's kind of my whole vibe. And I have just been really, really enjoying it. But one of my favorite games is Dead by Daylight. And I don't know. Sometimes I feel good about that. Sometimes I don't. But I decided, because I really like Michaela Reid. She's one of the survivors in that game. I wanted to make a sort of nod to her here in The Sims, and this restaurant was the perfect one. So this is Reid's Tavern, and she is a witch, Michaela Reid. So I thought it was very, very fitting. There's also a lot of fish in this restaurant. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's like a seafood restaurant, but I really like using the aquariums. I don't know. I loved the cats and dogs aquarium, and I just recently got spa day, so I've been using a lot of those aquariums. I also like to put my aquariums in walls and then put a window so that you can see the aquarium. I don't know if that even works in terms of gameplay because you can view the fish. You can also see here, I kind of struggled for a fair amount of time because everything started out very symmetrical from the exterior of the building, and I wasn't really sure what I really wanted to do for the inside. So everything got very symmetrical, and it was starting to feel weird, if I'm being honest. I was like, I like the way that this looks, but there's just something off about it, and I don't really know how to fix it. So I decided, after a conversation with my boyfriend, he suggested, because I have the whole second floor, I do have that opening where the chandelier is to let in a lot of that light, but the whole upper floor was unusable. I don't even remember where I was or what I was talking about. I just got a call from my dentist's office because I get to have a crown put in tomorrow. I thought that my last dentist appointment was to put the crown in, but I must have misremembered. So they actually had to do like the molding or whatever it is to try to like figure out like the shape of it. I don't really know how it all works, but I was there for like forever. And now tomorrow I get to go to the dentist again and I get to get a crown put in. How exciting. But anyway, I think I was talking about how the build, it was just feeling very symmetrical, and I just felt a little uncomfortable that it was just the same thing over and over and over again. And I had that upper floor that didn't really have any use. And I had actually tried to put in a staircase a bunch of times, and it just wasn't working out. No matter what I did, it just looked weird. And then we would have to get rid of one of the windows, and I just felt like it just looked weird. I didn't like it. But then after a conversation with my boyfriend, he had urged me to try again. And I really wanted no part of it because I thought this speed build is going to get very long, but I realized if I'm cutting out a lot of me trying to figure out the stairs originally, maybe I could do something different here and I could just try to find a way to make it fit. And I did. I was able to get a staircase to fit. So I ended up pulling out the like chef's like kitchen, pushing that back a little bit more. I think I just did like one more tile. And then I was able to get a staircase to fit. And it actually came out perfectly because I don't think that the bar was functional before. I don't think that your Sims could get in front of it because of where the fence was to go downstairs into the basement for the bathrooms. However, once I was able to switch the location of the bar, which you'll see a little bit later in the video, it just changed dramatically. We got so much more seating, so this restaurant can actually fit a lot more patrons. I don't actually know if that breaks a restaurant or not. When I was trying to take photos of this, I found out that I was able to go in and go to the bar and order a drink, but everybody else went up to the host's stand and kind of just congregated there in the front. Nobody did anything. I kind of just paused like very quickly so I didn't lose daylight, but they were there for a good amount of time. So hopefully this works. We'll see once we actually get into playing in here, which I'll probably do either on tomorrow's stream on Thursday or maybe next week. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see. I actually tried quite a few things here. One of the things that I don't understand is the restaurant that I made in Hinford-on-Bagley, I needed the host's stand to be outside in order for it to work. But I don't think you need the host stand to be outside the building. I could be wrong, but every single time that I've made a restaurant, it only works if the host stand is outside. So we'll see. We'll see. Speaking of the basement, which I don't think I really mentioned, I knew that I wanted bathrooms in here, but I was still on that symmetrical feeling. I feel like whenever I get into that mood where I want everything to be symmetrical, the builds suffer. So why do I do it? But I just wanted everything to be symmetrical, and I ended up getting rid of that idea, and I brought the bathrooms into the basement before I got rid of that idea. So the basement holds the bathroom and it has 2 fish tanks, but I think it works. I think it looks good that we have that one aquarium that's right behind the host and then the 2 staircases going down into the bathroom. I feel like it just looks good. I feel like a lot of restaurants would have something set up that way, especially here in Glimmerbrook. I don't know. I just feel like it fits into the idea, especially with the way that this build looks on the exterior, which you'll see a little bit later on how I did the rest of the landscaping. But this is kind of what I was envisioning in general. It took me a while to get to where I wanted it to be. Oh, I should also say, I kind of use these YouTube commentary speed builds as my sort of way of catching up with y'all over here on YouTube. As you know, or if you didn't know, I stream pretty much every single day over on Twitch, and I don't just play The Sims, but I play The Sims a fair amount. And actually, this weekend, if you're watching this right now, this week that this is published, on Saturday, the day before Mother's Day, I am going to be doing a stream with my mom. So my mom's going to be sitting here next to me, and we're going to be playing The Sims. We're not going to be doing gameplay. We're going to be building. But my mom is kind of obsessed with like English cottages and like that whole vibe. And I thought it would be really fun if the 2 of us built her dream cottage. So we're going to try to do that. We're going to try to figure that out. I might have to like make the shell off stream ahead of time just so I can like work with her and have more time to actually design the rest of the build, especially with landscaping and stuff like that. But I think it'll be fun. I'm really excited for it because my mom has a really good eye for design and in general, like interior design. All of my love of that really has stemmed from my mom. So I don't know, I'm really excited for it. And it'll be really cool because who knows, I could even put it into my legacy save. Maybe I'll make it like a rental that people can go to. Oh, If you saw my last YouTube video, you might have been confused because I've always done anything in terms of like content creation. So whether I'm streaming on Twitch or I'm here doing YouTube videos, I've always been on camera. And last week, that YouTube video was the first time that I was ever not on camera. And that also, I took off my 2 sim streams last week, or 2 of the sim streams last week, because I got a really bad sunburn. You might be able to tell I'm a little bit red, and also like my head is peeling in places. Please don't look at it. It's disgusting. But I went out for a walk last Sunday with a friend of mine. Actually, not last Sunday, the Sunday before last, with a friend of mine. We went for like a 2-hour walk. It was not that hot out. It wasn't like super sunny, but the 2 of us got sunburned. I got sunburned way worse than my friend did. I ended up basically like from here, like above my eyes and a little bit of my nose, but above my eyes, my ears, and then all the way down my neck, I got sunburned. And it wasn't like the worst sunburn I've ever had in terms of like redness, but it was the worst sunburn I've ever had. And I urge everyone here, if you are watching and you're planning on going out in the sun, even if it's not summer, because it's not summer right now, it's spring, wear sunscreen. Even if you're just going to put moisturizer on that has some SPF in it, please just protect yourself from the sun, because I went out, was not expecting anything. I didn't wear a hat. I really should be wearing a hat anytime that I go out in the sun since I've been losing my hair. I just wasn't thinking. And I just went outside. We were walking for 2 hours, which we've done before without sunburns. And I got the worst sunburn of my life. I ended up blistering on my scalp, which I didn't even realize at first, but that's really bad. And I ended up swelling. So I had the redness and everything like that, but my head started to swell. And it was, I think, Monday night that I first noticed it. And if you've ever seen a beluga whale, that's what I looked like. I looked like a beluga whale. I literally called my boyfriend into the bathroom and I was like, do you see what I'm seeing? Because I had like, it literally looked, I'm probably going to be exaggerating, but it felt huge. It looked like I had like a softball on my head. And then over time, it just like expanded. So for a while, like my whole forehead was swollen. And then I think it was like Wednesday morning that I noticed that my eye was swollen underneath. And I was like, well, that's new. And I didn't get sunburned on my eyes because I had my glasses on, so it covered me. But below my eye got swollen, and it was swollen enough that it wasn't really blurring my vision or anything, but like it was uncomfortable and you knew that something was there. And then like the bridge of my nose also got swollen, and then underneath my left eye got swollen. I finally decided to stream again because I felt for the first time not 100% hideous. But I finally decided to stream on Friday, and we played some Palia, which was really fun. I've been really getting back into Palia. And then on Saturday, we did my shell tours, because if you didn't know, I had a shell challenge out. This was my first shell challenge ever that I've hosted and designed. I had hosted a shell challenge previously, but my moderators over on Twitch, they had designed the rooms, and it was a puzzle shell. So each of the rooms that they designed, I had to put together and then design some build around that. And it was brutal. A lot of people tried it and then gave up halfway through. But this time I designed it and it came out really nice. I was also blown away by everyone who had done something. Also, if you're around this week over on Twitch, I know today is Wednesday and I only stream 2 more days, but if you're around and you would like to redeem so that I can check out your shell if you submitted it late, just pop in and we'll tour it. I had a really good time with it, but I was just blown away by everyone's shells. We had a good variety too. There were a lot of people who did a residential build like I did, but there were also a lot of people who did some like crazy things. One of my friends, Max, he ended up making a, like, I don't know what it was called. It's kind of like a shopping mall, but not like a mall, I guess, like an outdoor mall sort of thing. So there were each like spaces in one building for each of like the different stores. And that was just phenomenal. We also had somebody who had done like an amusement park, which I thought was crazy. I was just shocked that was even like a possibility. And then probably one of my favorite builds from this group of submissions was my friend Nick had made the house from Up, or at least inspired by the house from Up. So there were balloons and it was actually like floating above the ground, and it was just phenomenal. There were a whole bunch of nods to the movie itself. I was just blown away. It is just incredible to see the creativity of simmers out in the world. I think we're gonna have to do another shell challenge at some point because it was just phenomenal. I just could not wrap my head around the fact that people had made these beautiful buildings. I don't know, it's just like wild to me. And there were so many people who struggled with the roof and then submitted like the most amazing roofs. I know my friend Marina, she had struggled a bit with her roofing, and I was really impressed with hers. I thought hers was probably one of the better roofing attempts. We also had people who this was their first shell challenge ever. Like they've never submitted to a shell challenge, and they did so good. They did so good. I don't know. I fell in love with shell challenges. My first shell challenges that I ever had done was I did one for Little Simsy. I actually made that into a rental in my legacy save, and my Sims have honeymooned there quite a few times. I also had done a shell challenge for Kate Emerald, but I don't know. I just think they're really fun, especially if you don't really feel that confident as a builder. This gives you the tools to go in and build without, I don't know, knowing what you should do like from the start. Like you have something to work off of, and you also have those limitations. So like you can't change those exterior walls, but you can still like design something and create something of your own. And honestly, shell challenges, no matter what anybody tells you, at least my shell challenges, they're supposed to get you interested in building. They're supposed to make building fun for you. And building is not fun for everyone. Not everyone is a builder, and that's totally okay. But if you feel like you want to build and you don't really know what to do, or you don't really feel inspired to build, find a shell challenge, because it might just be that boost of creativity that you need to give you that sense of confidence in your building, because everyone can build, or at least that's my opinion. I think everyone can build. I don't know. I just love shell challenges. But anyway, getting back to this build, I think that we are probably nearing the end of the build right now. So why don't we pop into the game and I can show you around a little bit. So here we are at the Brooksbridge Borough lot, which is now Reid's Tavern. I brought a couple of Sims here. I think it looks beautiful. It has just started snowing in my game, but this is the exterior. There's a little spot over here for staff to get in and out. There's also a little seating area over here, as well as a bunch of dining tables on the outside. On the first floor, you have the kitchen staff over here, and then there's the staircase to get upstairs, and there's a whole bunch of little dining areas. In case you've ever wondered what the Wyndham family from my legacy save looks like, this is them. This is the Luella Wyndham that I'm talking about all the time. And this is our Generation 5 Sim, Archimedes, and his daughter, our Generation 6 Sim, Gemma. Here is the host's booth, as well as the stairs to get downstairs to the bathrooms. And here is the bar over here. Then on the upper floor, you come up the stairs and there's a whole bunch of smaller tables up here in case you got a lot of Sims here. But that is Reid's Tavern. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please consider liking and subscribing and hitting that notification bell so you never miss another video. But thank you so much. I will catch you next Wednesday, or if you want to see my streams, especially my sim streams, I stream Tuesdays and Thursday mornings here on the East Coast. We start around 10 a.m. And this sim right here, our Generation 6 sim, Gemma Wyndham, she is going to start going to school. Archimedes over here needs to get better at paranormal stuff. When Gemma ages up into a young adult, she is going to be moving to San Myshuno, and she is going to be living out our city living gen. If that interests you, be sure to follow over on Twitch. Again, it's just the same name over there. It's just twitch.tv/Teknikolour. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.